Hey, I'm Lara and this is Zero, and today I'm finally going to finish the long version or the detailed version of how to get your horse to lay down. So I do have a video on how to get your horse to lay down using the fly method. It's just one method of many that you can use. The fly method works really well if you do it properly, of course. So what today is going to be is just a few more details on how to start that method. So first things first is a really good idea to spray your horse with fly spray, horse fly spray, so that throughout your session, the reason is you don't want your horse responding to a real fly, meaning he might twitch or lift his leg when there's a real fly on him and you not reward it. So you don't want, at this point, you don't want him responding to a real fly. You want him responding to the fake fly, which is the fly that we will be using today. So just make sure that there's less of a chance that a real fly is going to land on him. Spray them first, set you up for success. So here is my fake fly up close. All it is the end of the stick and string that fell off. It's an old lunging whip, and the string fell off, and then this piece just happens to be hanging. So nothing fancy. I didn't go and make something or buy something. It's just whatever you use just needs to be something flexible like this so that when you touch them, it's something soft. Okay, now let's start. What we're going to use is the fly on the end of the stick to get a response from your horse so that he thinks it's a fly. So that's all that you're looking for. But then once you get the response, you need to then reward the response so that they can start to understand. So all you would do, you see this? He's responding because no other flies have been on him for the last 10 minutes because I sprayed him with fly spray. So now there's more of a chance that he's going to respond to a fly, or what he thinks is a fly. So your horse may do this for quite some time. Have you had enough there? Your horse may not respond for quite some time. So what you do is you move it. You don't harp on something if it's not working. So he just happened to lift the wrong leg, but good. So notice what happened then is all I do is I wait, and I wait. And I keep moving the fly. So don't keep just putting it in one spot and expecting a response. If you're not getting a response, you change it. So what happened was Zero wasn't responding, and it's highly likely that a lot of horses won't respond in the beginning. But you can see the feeling because he thinks it's a fly. Good. So what I just did then is I took advantage of a situation. Because Zero was already responding with his offside hind to a real fly, I thought I would take advantage of that to then be able to cue him with the fake fly and then reward him. So basically what you need to do is you need to stand here with your horse and keep moving. What he needs to do is move the leg that you have good. Move the leg that you actually have the fly on. So notice the timing of my bridge as well is I said good when his leg went up in the air as soon as he responded. So that's what you need to be careful of. Make sure that you are using a bridge and you're not just giving a reward, because your reward might come a little too late. So he knows, because Zero does obviously know this behavior good. What I'm doing is I'm just making sure he responds to the area that I'm actually using the fake fly on. So because he does know it, he's kind of anticipating, and instead of him moving his leg to the fly that I actually had the leg on, with the leg that I had the fly on, he was responding with different legs, which I don't want to happen, because what I do want to happen is I want him to be moving the leg that I'm asking him to move. Just as you would in those tapping videos, people where they're tapping their leg, good. This is all we want. So this is your first steps of teaching them to respond to the fake fly. Good. So you see there, he started to move the wrong leg, and now that's handy. I'll continue, and hopefully that noise is not going to drown us all out. So I'll move legs. Good. This is what you need to do in the very beginning. So what I mean by that is, apart from you making sure that your horse responds to the fly on the leg that you're doing, good. The other thing you need to make sure that you do in the very early stages is not continue on the same leg over and over again. So make sure that you change it up, because otherwise what will happen is your horse will become fixated on the feeling of the fly and picking up his inside front, possibly. If you don't keep changing it in the very beginning, and also change where you put the fly in a spot where you know he can't respond other than a twitch, just to keep the reaction going. Good. So this is how you start getting the desired response. Good boy. Change sides. The other thing you want to make sure you do is you don't just want him to respond good with you standing on his near side. You want him to respond no matter where you're standing. You don't want good an association to where you're standing as being part of the cue. Because this is one thing that people don't notice that horses do. Horses will put it all together and think, when she stands here and I feel this, then I respond. Whereas he needs to understand that it doesn't matter where you stand. You could stand here. Of course, not if your horse was responding with a kick backwards. You wouldn't want to do that. But you know your horse, know his responses, know the fact that Zero is now half asleep. That was a real fly. Come on, Zero. Good. Okay, because I was getting no response then, as soon as I did get a response, even though it was tiny, you still reward it. Because if you're expecting something big and you keep on pushing for something big, you'll end up with getting nothing. So what you do need to do is make sure that if you're getting nothing for a little while, but you get some kind of response, good. That's what you do. You need to make sure you reward any kind of reaction. Change it up a little bit, stand over the other side. If he's not responding, move where you have the fly. Move the location, don't just keep doing it in one spot. Good. So this is how you teach them to respond to the fly. What you do is you need to make sure, good, that before you move on to the next stage or the next step, you need to make sure that every time you touch good, you get the correct response straight away. If you were still doing this and getting no response, you're not ready to move on. Make sure you're getting exactly what you want before you move to the next step. Zero, wrong leg. Good. Now I am rewarding, as you see, actually giving a food reward for each response. That's because it's in the early stages. Well, for Zero, it's not. For video purposes, it is. This is what you would want to do, and that's just to make it a stronger reward, so that way they will respond quicker, they will learn quicker. Good, and you don't have to harp on it for so long. Good boy. So because Zero does know this already, obviously this is a little bit easier for me right now. This leg, good. Okay, I'm not going to harass Zero with the fake fly any longer because he already knows this and he's a little over it, as you can see. So as long as what you're making sure you do is that each time you get a response, each time you touch a particular leg, you're not ready to move on until you know that when you touch the near side front, he picks up the near side front. When you touch the offside front, he picks up the offside front. When you touch the near side hind, he picks up the near side hind. And when you touch the offside hind, he picks up the offside hind. That would mean that you're ready to move on. Now, the next thing that I suggested in my original video, as you saw, or if you haven't watched it, you can go ahead and watch it after this one, is you touch them on the belly. Now when you're wanting the belly touch, what you're wanting and looking for there is the back legs to come up forward. That's the ideal response. So keep doing this until that's what you get. Good. Now let's say that you didn't get that response. Move it. Again, like I said, if it means here, maybe your horse particularly would rather respond when it's here and not here. Find out where it is that your horse responds to most and find that spot, good, and reward it. So that's a key point to take note of, and that's with anything that you're training. If something's not working, change it. So don't just keep on at the same spot. Let's say your horse doesn't really care if the fly is in the middle of his belly, but he does care if it's up here near his girth. Move it. Wait until you get the desired response and then reward it. You can then, if you wanted to, move it from there to there, get the response and move it. That's the next stage. So after that, you need to make sure that your horse will come around in a circle with you, because most of the time, as we would all know as horse people, before the horses lay down, most horses, they kind of have a look at the ground, they pick up a few legs, they see which bit's the best bit. Do I want to roll here or do I want to roll there? So what do? You have to take a look at your surroundings and think, where would my horse rather lay down? If there's a spot you know your horse already lays down, use that spot. Use it to your advantage. So I know with Zero, he likes the softest bit, as most horses would. So when I first taught Zero to lay down, I actually took him over there because there used to be a big mound in front of the round yard of really soft, newly dropped sand. So it was quite a bit of a pile. And Zero thought, geez, that's a really good spot to lay down. So this is what you want to make sure your horse is going to follow you around like this. It also is like a bit of a memory thing for them to think, before I lay down, that's just something I do. So what you would want to do is start with the various areas of the fake fly and start to look like you are going to take him on a circle. If you see he's doing this and you recognise that your horse is thinking about laying down, don't stop him, of course. Let him go to a spot that he likes, not a spot where he's just decided to eat grass. Zero, I think that's a bad spot to lay down, right next to the edging. Take him back to a good spot. Make sure he has as much lead rope as he needs. Obviously I can see and you can see that Zero's thinking about laying down. As long as you know that's what he's thinking, go with him and get out of his way. It's actually quite difficult with Zero, like I said in my original video, because Zero lays down left hoofed. He lays down not facing me, usually he faces the other way. And looks like the fact that Zero knows this is probably not, he's not really responding in the way that I would expect him to and the way that I would like him to, because he does know that this means lay down. Make sure that in your case, because you're starting out, that your horse is looking like he's thinking about laying down. You can see that's what Zero's thinking. I'll let him dig a little bit of a hole, but not too much, because I don't want him ruining the base of my reining arena. He can dig in the sand, find the softest spot, because he's not quite going as quickly as I would expect. Good. All I did was I kept moving the fly. It's what you need to do, is you need to keep moving the fly. Whatever it is, like I said before, if you're not getting the desired response. And the other key point that I did point out in my original video is when they're laying down, make it nice, calm, give them lots of rewards. I haven't given Zero any right this minute because he didn't quite lay down as fast as I wanted him to, but that's okay, he still did it. And then give a particular cue for them to stand up. Perfect. Like I said in my original video, you need to be the one who gets your horse to stand up as well, because it is part of the behaviour. When your horse lays down, if they get up by themselves, it means that next time they'll think that they can get up by themselves. So what you do is you make it a short one. You don't get them to lay down. Let's say that's the first time your horse has laid down. You don't get them to lay down and stay there for the desired length that you would normally want them to. If you're wanting them to lay down for a minute or 2 minutes or 30 seconds, go for 5 seconds, go for 10 seconds. You have to make it short in the beginning and then make it you who decides to get them to stand up. That way they know that part of the behaviour is they lay down and then they stand up when you ask them to. If you let the habit happen where they get up themselves, that's what you'll end up with. The horse will lay down, he'll stand up, and if that's when you've given him a reward, that's actually what's in his head. What's in his head is, I lay down, I get up and I get a biscuit. So you need to think about these things and the motivation of your horse and what they would be thinking. Make sure your reward comes at the right time and your bridge is at the right time. So the bridge, anyone watching this for the first time, I harp on this a lot, it's very, very important. I do have a few videos describing what the bridge is and how important it is to use. It's basically someone's clicker or someone's whistle, and in my case it's the word good. So make sure you use your bridge at the correct time when they lay down. If they've just straight away gone down for the very first time, you use your bridge and then you would give them a reward. Anyway, I hope that finally helped. I've had a lot of questions about that video of how to teach your horse to lay down using the fly method. That's it. First you need to teach the fly method. It's like everything. You can't move on to the stage 10 until you've completed the steps through from 1 to 10. So anyway, Zero and I will see you on the next one. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification, like and comment.